is the political cover-up of the decade that is revealing the deleted power list. It includes the names of Vinay Kumar Sorake, the then State Urban Development Minister, MLA Muni Ratna, belongs to the Congress, Karthik D.V. Sadanand Gowda, son of Union Minister Sadanand Gowda, Abhijay, son of Karnataka DG Police R.K. Datta, Raghu, PA to ACP CCRB, ACP Maleshwar, DCP Chamber, Crime Rangaswamy. These are the names in which order the names have been stored in the phone book of DYSP MK Ganpati. Madhav, if I can come back to you, take our viewers through who was Vinay Kumar Sorake, what was his connection, has there any light been thrown by the CID investigations on the names that we are reading out? Why were the calls of such important people like the then State Urban Development Minister, the MLA, Karthik D.V. Sadanand Gowda's son, why were these names deleted from the phone of Ganpati?
Well, one thing that we must say, Navika, at the outset is that we don't know really where the names who are associated or were deleted, were they all of them a part of that entire conspiracy? Was there a conspiracy in the first place? All of this will be subject matter of investigation, but certainly the fact that powerful persons, MLAs, ministers, all of those were in that list of whose names were deleted from this particular call list, all of this raises important questions. Were they part of a cover-up? Was there a larger conspiracy? Or was this just a decoy? Were there others who were in fact part of this conspiracy? What was in those word files? What was in those images? What was in those videos? All of these really would form part of the entire body of evidence that would perhaps throw up new clues to solve this entire case. But really a deliberate attempt to not just delete all of this, but also try and prevent all of this from coming to light when this matter is being raised as far as the inquiry into this case is concerned, just goes to show the sorry state of affairs as far as the criminal justice system, particularly in the state of Karnataka, is concerned, where if a slain police officer gets this kind of an inquiry...
That's right, and big breaking news coming up. The political cover-up of the decade revealed calls on the last day. Well, we have details of several calls from senior police officials who were made on the last day. Call from DYSP Harish Chandra, call from DYSP Ramnagar, call from CID and Cyber CID office, calls from ACP Jairam, one call from a Rajasthan registered number, calls from police control room, also calls coming from a pub owner, Sukhpal Polali. What does this point to, Madhav? Because there are calls from several senior officers coming. Was this any indication of the depression that has been finally become the reason of the death of, or suicide as the CID calls it, of DYSP MK Ganpati? Was a depressed man talking to so many police officers and having a very, very normal conversation with them?
Well, one thing is very clear, Navika, that as far as these particular calls are concerned, one very important aspect that we must consider is the fact that over 100 missed calls were received by DYSP Ganpati on the date that he died. Whether he was killed or whether he committed suicide is, of course, another question. So what was the top brass of the police doing? Not just his own boss, who is the IG at that point of time, who he reported to. It's not just him, but a wide number, a large number of police officers who are calling him on that day and calling him repeatedly. Not just before, in fact, he makes those revelations to a TV channel, but even after that. So big question is this: was there some kind of an attempt to coerce him, to put pressure on him by his own, or by his own profession, by those in the police profession?
Well,
that's an important question.
Great story. It's going to have repercussions in Karnataka. The question we are asking tonight is, why was the Congress government in Karnataka covering up? The hashtag, ladies and gentlemen, is ConCoverUp. Do send us your tweets, your questions, and we'll take your questions on the Newshour tonight. Thank you, Madhav, for joining us on this part. We're going across straight to the debate, and we're asking the question, should there be a CBI inquiry? Because this matter requires a deeper investigation.
Super prime time.
And joining me this evening, Dr. Sambit Patra, national spokesperson of the BJP. Joining me live, R. Rajagopalan, senior journalist, with me in our Noida studios. Aryama Sundaram, senior lawyer. Alimuddin Khan, political analyst, Sumant C. Raman, political analyst, and CM Dhananjay, chairman of the legal wing of the KPCC. But I'm going first across to Mr. Dhananjay. Mr. Dhananjay, why was the government of Karnataka in a hurry to give a clean chit to Mr. KJ George? Within 3 months of the FIR being lodged against him, the resignation of KJ George, they hurriedly brought in a CID report which exonerated Mr. KJ George and reinstated him. And what about these detailed records, the forensic reports that shows that crucial data in the phone, in the computers, in the pen drives were tampered with, Mr. CM Dhananjay? Just who was doing it? Is it the record of the Karnataka government to hound honest police officers, whether it's D. Rupa, who brought out the entire mishandling of the Sasikala case, the kind of VVIP treatment she was getting, or it was one officer, Anupama Shenoy, who just put a minister on hold on a call and she was shunted out? Is that the way honest police officers are treated in Karnataka, Mr. Dhananjay?
See, first of all, I like to tell you, I request you not to use the name of Karnataka government unnecessarily. The matter is, when the unnatural death was taken place in Madikeri, immediately there was a UDR was registered. Subsequently, there was a private complaint was filed. Then the private complaint, after the court has given a direction for the purpose of
why should we not ask questions of the government, sir? Why should we not ask the questions of the government?
Why was the government in a hurry? Allow me to answer to all your question now. No, I'm requesting you to allow me to answer it, all your questions. Can you allow me to speak to answer it? Can you allow me to answer all the questions you put forth?
Did the CID look at these records? It didn't, sir. The CID
allow me
did
to
not
answer
look
it.
at
Allow me
these
to answer it. I will give you because I want to make it clear.
Okay, so answer this question.
To the public,
answer this question. Okay, I'm asking you. I'm asking you a direct question.
I will come to you all that.
I'm asking you a direct question, Mr. CM Dhananjay.
Madam, allow me to ask you. You are not interrogating. You are only interviewing me.
Allow me to ask. May 2017.
Can you allow me to discuss?
How could?
Can you allow me to discuss it or not? No, can you allow me to discuss it or not?
Provided you answer this question.
Allow me, then you question me, please.
Let me please listen to the question.
No, there was listen please. There was a PCA was registered, that was given a direction by the court for
history. Don't bring a history here.
No, PCA.
Whatever you are saying, they are all history.
Kindly.
You have to speak the truth.
You don't have.
You are bringing out only history. We don't want any FIR.
Speaking, I know the truth. I'm going to talk about the
you are not allowing me to speak. This is all Congress. You don't want to listen to Congress part. You only want to speak.
BJP. Please, I request you to keep quiet.
You are unnecessarily coming in now.
Sir, Madam, I like to tell you, then the matter went up before the High Court. Then the matter went up before the Honorable High Court. The matter went, the petition went
about it.
The matter went up to the before the High Court. The High Court after the...
Everyone knows about it.
Keep quiet now, please.
Everyone knows
let me tell you. Let the public know that there was FIR. There was the petition. The matter went up before the High Court. The High Court is the one which given after the lengthy argument discussion. It given a direction to the CID to investigate and report it. The same was reported on. Hello, can you keep quiet, please?
Mr. Dhananjay. Mr. Dhananjay,
you are not
coming to the point. I'm asking you the pointed question, Mr. Dhananjay, that these forensic reports... Listen to the question, sir. No, I will not allow you to answer. I will not allow you to speak till you listen to the question.
Direction for investigation.
Mr. CM Dhananjay, either I lower your fader or you listen to the question.
It was reported to the court. Now the matter, it was satisfied. I am giving you the word.
Okay, Mr. CM Dhananjay,
please,
the question is, this forensic report came on 20th of May 2017. The CID clean chit came in September 2016. With this tampering, with this forensic analysis, which shows that there was tampering of his phone, which shows that there was tampering of his computers, his pen drives, Mr. CM Dhananjay, when all this has come only in May this year, how was Mr. KJ George given a clean chit last year? How was Mr. KJ George given a clean chit last year? Answer that question.
Investigation is completed. After the investigation is completed, after the CID filed the report.
Why KJ George was reinstated?
I will tell you kindly and listen. The report was aspected, satisfied. None other than the private complaint filed by his son.
But these are not needed.
Ask him to keep quiet.
These are not needed. Why KJ George?
I don't want you to interfere when I'm arguing, please. When I'm submitting my question.
Arguing.
When she asks me the question, I'm going to answer it. You please don't interfere. I am not interested to... You please keep... Can you request... I am requesting you to keep quiet. Anything is there, she can ask. She can question me. I am ready to answer it.
Why KJ George was reinducted? You are not answering that point. You are going around and round and you are not coming to the right point.
You want to speak? Kindly speak.
But you have to answer the question. Why KJ George was reinducted? Why KJ George was not summoned?
Can I speak, please? Can you allow me to speak?
Go on.
See, it is the investigation done under the direction of the Honorable High Court of Karnataka. Let me be clear. After the investigation, report was filed. After the report was filed, the complainant, who was a complainant, none other than the deceased, that is the Ganapati's son, Nehal, aspected, he said, I am satisfied with the report. Then the four members of the family, approached the Supreme Court, the family has approached the
Supreme Court, sir. Probably you are not aware of that fact.
That
if they were satisfied with the investigation, they would not have approached the Supreme Court. No. Your argument is completely busted. Your argument is completely busted because the family has not accepted.
No, you are not allowing me to speak at all.
You are speaking the most. Nobody else is speaking except you.
Now the matter is pending before the Supreme Court. Let the Supreme Court, after hearing the petitioners and the government, let him pass the appropriate order. Why do you want to investigate now? If there is anything,
we are saying there is material fact that has come to the table now. Dr. Sambit Patra, with these forensic reports that talk about deletion of call details, the deletion of important files from the computer, the deletion of important images from the computer of N.K. Ganapati, Dr. Sambit Patra, please lower his fader because CM Dhananjay will not stop talking and he is only beating around the bush. Dr. Sambit Patra. The fact is that these forensic reports have come out only on the 20th of May 2017. How could the CID give a clean chit to KJ George way back in September 2016? Isn't that the moot point in this entire investigation?
Navika, it's absolutely clear. It's crystal clear. Even anyone who doesn't understand legality, it doesn't take a rocket science for him or her to understand what is happening over here. It's a total sham cover-up case that has taken place over here, and deletion of all these important data from various sources, the mobile, the images from various hard disks, etc., shows that it is not just deleting them from various sources. It has been a concerted effort by the Congress government in Karnataka to delete the truth out of its existence. But truth has this uncanny habit of popping up its head anywhere, and that's the reason as to why we can see the truth is coming out after all these months as well. Secondly, and extremely importantly, why does this case assume such a great proportion, and why are we discussing it tonight? We are discussing it because we have had precedences of such kind of cases in Karnataka. We had seen the case of death of a bureaucrat in Karnataka, B.K. Ravi. We had discussed about it, debated about it extensively. Then we had also seen the suicide, the death, the murder.
Dr. Patra, don't show seriousness on your face. Artificial seriousness you are showing on your face.
Please don't laugh when I'm talking about
Dr. Patra.
Please show some respect.
Dr. Patra, this is your systematic photostat copy. Government is in process. You are giving these copies to Times Now and campaigning against Congress. Nothing new. We are not worried about it. You please
Mr. Alimuddin Khan, Mr. Alimuddin Khan, do not try to cast aspersions on an investigation that has been done by a Times Now reporter. Madhav Das Gopalakrishnan has dug out these reports from the forensic lab, sir. Mr. Alimuddin Khan, you have never done a day's work as an investigative reporter, so do not cast aspersions on the work that is done by the reporters of this channel, Mr. Alimuddin Khan. I warn you that that is not going to be acceptable.
Navika ji,
put our neck out to investigate.
I remind you your program in 2015 about DK Ravi's case when an IS officer committed suicide. I remind you that debate, it was your debate on Times Now. You highlighted that. You highlighted that DK Ravi's case. And finally, the case was investigated by CBI. And CBI did the closure report that was the case of suicide. And this case is also similar to that.
You can't expect sensitivity from Congress because the Congress is involved in a cover-up.
You can debate these issues, but please show some humanity at least. Let me just complete a few points. Let me tell you, I gave you the example of Handibag also, Kalappa Handibag, and recently we have seen as to what had happened to D. Rupa and Anupama Shinoy. These officers who do not fall into the line of the political instructions, they in fact have been made to either they have been murdered, they have committed suicide, or they have been sidelined in the way that we have seen only in the recent past. This is absolutely nefarious and this is dangerous as far as bureaucracy and political nexus in Karnataka is concerned. Why were all these files deleted? If everything you wanted was, all that you wanted was that the truth should be exposed to the people, why delete? Why not preserve is my question. And Mr. Alimuddin Khan, you would agree, if it's a suicide case, as you are pointing out, or as the investigation is pointing out, so why so much of cover operation? Let me tell you.
That's the question. And let me take that question to the lawyer on the panel.
Why two cartridges in the same room?
Counsel Arima Sundaram is with us. Mr. Arima Sundaram, the question is, Mr. Arima Sundaram, that these forensic reports are dating 20th of May 2017, and these show that SMSs have been deleted and the phone has been switched on and off 20 times. The powering events are 20 times after the phone has been confiscated after the death of MK Ganpati. Mr. Arima Sundaram, shouldn't the investigation concentrate on the fact that who was interested in deleting specific information from the phones, whether it's the call records, whether it's the deletion of the calls that were made, whether it's the name of the contacts that have been removed, the images that have gone, the Excel files, the Word files that have vanished from pen drives and from computers? When these reports come in on the May of 20th, 2017, how could the CID have given a clean chit to a former minister, KJ George, way back so that he could be reinstated within 3 months of his resignation?
I think, Navika, the point is that most facts here are self-evident. There is no manner of doubt that the investigation has thrown up certain issues which really require to be addressed and resolved. There is no manner of doubt that various circumstances point at very suspicious factors of the way in which this investigation was conducted. What has actually come out is a fact that there was an investigation. I'm not attributing motives, but let me say it very objectively. What comes out very clearly is that an investigation was rushed through. Perhaps it was rushed through with an aim to clear a person's name so that he can be reinducted as a minister. Perhaps it was rushed through to cover up some kind of thing. Perhaps it was rushed through to cover up an allegedly corrupt officer who could have been divulging other allegedly corrupt people. Whatever it is, there is no manner of doubt that without a complete forensic report, for an investigation to be closed is most peculiar, most ununderstandable. And especially in a case like this, where the forensics examination seems to show that there was phone calls deleted, that there were names deleted, that all these deletions have taken place after the death. Now look at it practically. Assume all these phone calls were actually available on the phones. Assume all this material was actually available. A natural investigation would be to talk to the person, to investigate with the person who had been on the telephone and say, what was your call about, what had been discussed, what was the issue. Now all that is not done, and it's not done because these names are deleted. Well, if a needle of suspicion does not at least point in that direction, I wonder what more is needed. And as for your first question, let me tell you that given these circumstances, I can only say that while speedy justice is something we all want, I must say that this undue haste in an investigation is also cause of extreme concern. And I think if such investigations can be conducted in this kind of manner, we have to have a real second look at the way investigations are conducted in this country.
Well, that's the important point, Mr. CM. Dhananjay, respond. This is not Times Now's allegations. This is coming in from a senior lawyer, a man who's well versed with these issues. Number one, Mr. CM Dhananjay, the interview given by M.K. Ganapathy hours before he died pointed out to K.J. George and two other senior top cops. The point is also that these people were never ever questioned for 4 or 5 days till after the court, the local court, ordered an FIR be filed against them. Why was it done, sir? Why don't you respond to all the loopholes that Arima Sundaram is talking about?
Because the matter was pending in the High Court. Because the matter was pending in the High Court. Matter is pending in the High Court. That's why now the matter is pending in the Supreme Court. Let us wait for a Supreme Court decision. We'll appreciate whatever. Let the outcome of the Supreme Court. Can
I ask a question to Dhananjay ji?
The Supreme Court decision. Let the
Mr.
Supreme
Patra
Court
has a question.
Come out.
Mr. Patra has a question. Dr. Sambit Patra is asking you a question. Yes, Dr. Sambit Patra. Yes, Dr. Sambit Patra.
No, if you speak, let us not politicize the issue.
I have a question. Can you answer me?
Of the Supreme Court will take a decision. No, let the Supreme Court decision be abide by the Supreme Court decision.
Mr. Dhananjay, you were saying that the High Court has already decided. There is no reason for anything else to be looked into. The High Court has decided. Now you suddenly say that there is a Supreme Court petition that is pending, so let the Supreme Court decide. Why are you changing your stand, Mr. Dhananjay? Why are you changing your stand every now and then? That shows the slippery ground on which the Congress party in Karnataka is on.
I request you, if there is anybody got an objection, let them go to the Supreme Court. There is who are the petitioner, let them support them. Let us not argue here. This is not a place. The matter is pending before the Supreme Court.
Listen to me.
Let the discussion.
You have repeated this at least 100 times.
Then we'll keep quiet. Let us come out from the Supreme Court, then we'll discuss it.
At least keep quiet now, re Baba. It is pending. Keep quiet now. Listen to me. The question to you, Mr. Dhananjay, is you have at least repeated 100 times that the matter is pending before the Supreme Court, the investigation is on. And you would agree that there was a commission set.
There is no investigation. Investigation is completed. B report has filed. The matter is pending before the Supreme Court.
Investigation completed before forensic report. Investigation completed before forensic report. What kind of an investigation is this? How can an investigation be complete before the forensic report? Please explain to me, Dr. Sambit Patra.
We are not supposed to discuss when the matter is pending before the court. Even I know that FSL was filed before the court.
How can I speak if he keeps on shouting?
Would
he hear? Dhananjay ji, I have a question. If you really are concerned, answer this question. Dhananjay ji, you have said that all this is pending before the Supreme Court.
Why don't we all wait for that?
Oh my God, Congressman, keep quiet now.
Dhananjay is the right person.
What kind of person this man is?
Why do you take a decision? Why don't you speak like that? Why don't you? There's a union minister, there's a 9 cases are there. Why don't you talk about that? There's a FIR against 9 ministers.
Where did you get this panelist from? He doesn't even know. He doesn't even know when to keep quiet. Allow others to speak. Listen to me. Mr. Dhananjay, you are right. It is pending before the Supreme Court.
You are questioning
and a one-man commission is also looking into Mr. Ganapathy's death. When all this is pending, why did you reinstate Mr. George as the minister? Why couldn't this reinstallation ceremony wait till all these investigations were complete? Why in a hurry? Is it not true? It is, Navika, let me tell you, it is not one of the case as far as Mr. K.G. George is concerned. He is a very influential person in Karnataka's Congress circle. And remember, in the diary case also,
9 ministers, 9 union ministers, there is a FIR is pending. Do you mean that
in all cases of corruption, Mr. George's name comes
there is a 9 ministers, a case against FIR is against the 9 union ministers.
Then do they resign?
Because Siddaramaiah
and George,
our minister resign immediately.
Hand and glove.
No, you are
Supreme Court
you are not looking up to the own.
Pending,
you see that in own union minister got an FIR filed against them.
So please
you answer to that. Why they are keeping quiet? Ask them to resign first.
Now he's asking question to me. He was shouting he will not speak because case is pending in
No, we are not shouting.
Quiet,
I'm asking you, there's a 9 union ministers. Cases are pending against them. FR, why not ask them to resign?
You've asked the question, now listen to the answer.
Minister, first talk about Karnataka. Listen to me.
First talk about the union government. Who are the presently there are the union ministers? Because our case is pending before
don't shout over here. Allow
Mr. Suman Raman wants to come in. Mr. Dhananjay, I will have to lower your fader. I will have to lower your fader, Mr. Dhananjay, because you are derailing the debate. You are derailing the debate. Let me go across to Suman Raman.
2 points. 2 points. Navika, 2 quick points. One is, I agree with Mr. Sundaram in terms of if there is any new evidence which has emerged now, then obviously there is nothing which prevents that being put forward either in the form of a fresh investigation being done or the case being handed over to the CBI. You know what happened earlier with the DK Ravi case. Initially there was an investigation by the CID of the state police, and subsequently there was a lot of pressure and the matter was handed over to the CBI. Of course, the CBI did close the case, giving a clean chit and saying that he committed suicide due to personal reasons. Now the issue is not this. The issue is a forensic report certainly carries certain weight. I don't agree with Mr. Dhananjay on this, saying that, you know, because the matter is with the Supreme Court, nobody should talk about it at all. If the state government feels that there is enough evidence which has now emerged thanks to the forensic report, there's nothing which prevents them from putting it before the honorable court or even ordering a fresh investigation on their own with the permission of the court. So I don't think that this is the right approach to say that, you know, we will just sit and do nothing until the Supreme Court gives a decision. There is nothing which prevents the state government
from... The FSL report was filed to the court on Monday itself.
No, one second, sir. 1 second. Let me finish. Having said that,
before the
I think
Supreme Court,
that, you know, whether we also need to know, I think Madhav spoke about these deletions being made on the phone after the demise of Mr. Ganapathy. Was that the same sequence for the computer? I mean, where these files, Word documents, Excel sheets and all that deleted, because obviously when you delete something, you know, the date on which these things were deleted is always there. It can be recovered. So that information also needs to be put out, because it could have happened that these might have been deleted by Mr. Ganapathy himself, also for reasons which we need to investigate.
One of the key issues that you are forgetting at this point, and let me bring that to your notice, that there are gunshots also that have been found in the room. Now a man who used an old belt, a canvas belt to hang himself on the ceiling fan, what was he doing? Shooting, putting bullet shots in the room? Number one, did he put those bullet shots, or was there somebody else in the room using the revolver and putting the bullets out? Those are issues that have no explanation. But let me also ask you questions that are coming in from our viewers on involved.in.
If there is anything such thing there, it can bring it out. Because I got a record which is April 4.
Mr. Vedi is saying Times Now, you prove any number of evidence, but Congress will continue to say that this is political vendetta. That's Congress representative, Mr. Balachandran says, Congress representative just dodges to answer why all communications, the DY...
required any investigation, let the court take a decision. Let us not be going to...
Mr. Dhananjay, I will lower your fader. Listen to the questions of the people. The problem with the Congress party is doesn't listen to the questions of the people. People are asking questions. Congress representative is dodging the answers. Why are all the communications of the DYSP Ganapathy before he died were found erased? Why don't you answer that question? Why were the call records erased, sir?
We have to keep quiet. We have to respect that. Let the outcome come out, then we'll answer it. Till then, I don't like to answer it.
Your outcome has come.
Why there are nine ministers, nine union ministers, as FIR against that. Why don't you
as far as you are concerned, after the
to resign that?
I am asking my director Anupam to kindly lower the fader of CM Dhananjay, because he refuses to allow any conversation to take place. So just...
He's here to disturb.
Alimuddin Khan.
Disturbed everyone.
Alimuddin Khan, my question to you is, the Congress's objective was only to reinstate KJ George, which they did within 3 months. What about these forensic reports that have come out in May 2017? They have not been part of the investigation at all. So how can a clean chit be given to a minister and he be reinstated? And remember, this is a very important minister. Who is KJ George? He hails from the district of Kodagu in Karnataka. That was the district where this DYSP MK Ganapati was found dead in a lodge. So that's the connection. Why was KJ George given a clean sheet in such a hurry?
Navika ji, CID of the state investigated that case, and I tell you, Kishore Chand was the officer under whom inquiry was conducted. He filed report within the 3 months, and it was found a suicide case. And his wife, Mrs. Ganapati, supported that
You continue to talk about that.
Suicide. So only after that, Mr. was reinstated.
Don't mislead.
And you continue to use that alibi, but why is the family in the Supreme Court, sir?
Let me complete.
She is asking for a CBI inquiry in the Supreme Court.
That might be politically motivated by the BJP.
So that is politically motivated.
We cannot stop
Either
that.
it's political vendetta
BJP
or
is
political
motivating somebody.
Okay, Mr. Ali
advantage of his suicide case, turning into a murder case and turning into a political matter. Then we cannot stop it.
Mr. Alimuddin Khan, for you, everything that happens is either political vendetta or it's a politically driven case.
Navika, I want to come in here.
Navika ji, I just want to ask you one thing. Navika ji, you have debated DK Ravi case in year 2015 on your channel. I just remind you. And under that case was referred to the CBI. And CBI did the closure report that was the case of the suicide. So even if this case will be reinvestigated by the CBI, you will see that this will be again case of suicide.
Congress will be exposed.
But you are doing your job. Wonderful job you are doing for the BJP. Keep doing it. Congratulations to you.
Rahul Gandhi, Sonia Gandhi should answer.
Put another bogey to their
Sonia Gandhi should answer this
which they will
question.
derail again and
She is
kill so
going
many
for the
people.
polls now.
You help them, it is your choice.
Government of Karnataka is going for polls.
Hey,
Sonia Gandhi
why
should
you are
answer.
worried about it
Rahul Gandhi should answer these questions. Why Ganapati's family is going for CBI inquiry? Why are you keeping quiet, Alimuddin Khan? You maafi मांग लो. दुनिया से माफी मांग लो. गणपति को हत्या किया है करके बोलो.
73 चिल्ड्रन बन गए गोरखपुर में, उसकी माफी नहीं मंगवा रहे. रेल ट्रेन में कितने आदमी मर गए, 200 घायल, उसकी माफी नहीं मंगवा रहे आप लोग. सिर्फ आपको कांग्रेस से माफी मंगवानी है.
राहुल गांधी राहुल गांधी क्यों गणपति के पास नहीं गया है?
एक मिनट.
राहुल गांधी क्यों गणपति के पास नहीं गया है?
Rajagopalan ji, एक मिनट. Let me put out the questions that people are asking Mr. Alimuddin Khan. Alimuddin Khan, first KJ George is pulled back and then the investigation is done. How is it even possible? Please make sense of this. Vaikund is asking this question. Leonardo Doranjo is asking, despicable Alimuddin Khan shoots off the shoulders of the wife of the victim. You are using, that is your sensitivity, Alimuddin Khan. You are using the wife of the victim to make your statements. Also, Siddaramaiah is sitting on this entire investigation, and that is the question Ramchandar is asking. Should the Chief Minister of Karnataka answer the question of how the investigation is complete even before the forensic reports are out? These are questions that demand an answer. And Arima Sundaram, if I can come back to you, there are bullet shots in the room. Nobody has an explanation on who fired these bullet shots, because the reason for death of MK Ganapati was given as death due to hanging, and he used a canvas belt which his wife says cannot belong to him because he had a leather belt. Are these unanswered questions not enough for the entire investigation?
Let him read the
Let me show you those
pictures. Then maybe he can reply better.
Let me show you those pictures.
He can say he can only
लोग वोट दे रहे हैं 24%.
I think I was asked the question. I think I was asked the question. Shall I answer?
Yes, yes.
Yes. Mr. Khan, I was asked a question.
These are the visuals.
Shall I reply or do you want me not to say anything?
This is the canvas belt. Those are the bullet marks. If we can show the bullet marks as well in the room, when the bullet was not fired, when the man who was dead did not fire a bullet before dying, did he use it after dying? These are the bullet marks. Mr. Arimasundaram, are these facts not enough to ask for a reopening of the entire investigation?
Navika, in fact, there is no manner of doubt that there are a lot of unanswered questions. You know, when you talk about the 2 bullet casings, when you talk about the bullet marks, and that too in the room of a man who has allegedly committed suicide by hanging, now that raises a question which at the very least should have been dealt with, answered, investigated into further, and ostensibly I can only assume that if there was an investigation report which was satisfied, it would have gone into this in detail, explained why those bullet casings were there, done an investigation into what the causes of the bullet marks were. Now, that is one question. The second question which arises is that of all the material which was taken from the scene of the occurrence, it is an unnatural death, whether it is suicide, whether it is murder, it is an unnatural death.
Sir, have you read closure report?
Unnatural death.
Have you read closure report, sir? I am asking you, sir. You are a lawyer. I am not a lawyer. Have you read the closure report, sir?
Allow me to finish. All right, you talk. I am not saying anything more.
No, sir. I am just asking you. Have you read closure report, sir?
No. You
are giving legal advice without studying a case. Without studying a case, you are giving legal opinion on national television. You are showing that Congress government is guilty. Please act as a lawyer.
Well,
please talk when fact on your table.
Alimuddin Khan,
you do not have closure report with you, sir, and you are making comment on that.
Let me play out the sound bite of Prasad. The last person to speak to the Deputy SP, Mr. Arimasundaram, I'll come back to you. There's an important piece of...
I am sorry if it is, but let me answer you one question. I am on a point that these are all aspects which taken together demand, and I'm using the word demand, a further investigation. Pendency before the Supreme Court is no reason why there cannot be such an investigation.
Sir, then my answer is let the Supreme Court decide, then we move forward.
And Alimuddin Khan, hold your horses.
Cannot be investigated is completely wrong.
I take your point, and that's the reason we are asking why this investigation needs a fresh look. The last person to speak to the DYSP, the owner of the channel who interviewed the cop before he committed the alleged suicide. He confessed that the top cop had felt harassed and hounded. He also admitted that Deputy SP named a minister and 2 top cops. Listen in to that soundbite of Prasad.
ಅವರು ಸ್ಟ್ರೆಸ್ಡ್ ಆಗಿದ್ರಾ ಏನಿತ್ತಿಲ್ಲ ಮಾಮೂಲಿ ಥರನೇ ಇದ್ರು ನ್ಯಾಚುರಲ್ ಆಗಿದ್ರು ಬಟ್ ಆ ಫೀಲಿಂಗ್ ನನ್ನ ಹತ್ರ ಬಂದ ತಕ್ಷಣ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರು ಸೊ ಏನು ಇಂಪಾರ್ಟೆಂಟ್ ನನಗೆ ತುಂಬ ಇಂಪಾರ್ಟೆಂಟ್ ಮಾತಾಡಲಿಕ್ಕಿದೆ ಆಸ್ ಇಟ್ ಇಸ್ ಅನ್ನು ನೀವು ಟೆಲಿಕಾಸ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು ಆಗುತ್ತಾ ಅಂತ ಕೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ಖಂಡಿತ ಶೋರ್ ನಾನು ಹಾಕ್ತೀನಿ ಸರ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದೆ ಖಂಡಿತ ಟೆಲಿಕಾಸ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀನಿ ಬಂದು ನನ್ನ ಆಫೀಸ್ ರೂಮಲ್ಲಿ ಬಂದು ಒಂದು ಹಾಫ್ ಆನ್ ಅವರ್ ಡಿಸ್ಕಷನ್ ಮಾಡಿದರು ಈ ಥರ ಹೀಗಿದೆ ಅಂತೇಳಿ ಓಕೆ ನಾನು ಟೆಲಿಕಾಸ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀನಿ ಆಸ್ ಇಟ್ ಇಸ್ ಅನ್ನು ನನ್ನ ಸ್ಟುಡಿಯೋಲ್ಲಿ ರೆಕಾರ್ಡ್ ಕೊಟ್ಟರು.
ಯಾರ ಕಡೆಯಿಂದ ಪ್ರೆಷರ್ ಇತ್ತು ಅಂತ ನಿಮಗೆ
ಹೇಳಿದ್ರು ಇಂಚ ಮಿನಿಸ್ಟರ್ ಹೆಸರು ಹೇಳಿದ್ರು ಆಮೇಲೆ ಸೀನಿಯರ್ ಆಫೀಸರ್ಸ್ ಹೆಸರು ಹೇಳಿದ್ರು ಅವರು ಸೊ 2 ಜನ ಹೆಸರು ಹೇಳಿದ್ರು
ಮತ್ತೆ ಯಾವ ಕಾರಣಕ್ಕಾಗಿ ಅವ್ರ ಮೇಲೆ ಪ್ರೆಷರ್ ಇತ್ತು ಅಥವಾ ಅವ್ರನ್ನ ಟಾರ್ಗೆಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಿದ್ದು ಅನ್ಸ್ತಿತ್ತು ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ
ಅವ್ರು ಹೇಳ್ತಿರೋದು ನಾನು ಇಲ್ಲಿಗಲ್ ಆಕ್ಟಿವಿಟೀಸ್ ನಾನು ಸಪೋರ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಿಲ್ಲ ಇಲ್ಲೂ ಸೊ ಅದಕ್ಕಾಗಿ ನನ್ನ ಮೇಲೆ ಪ್ರೆಷರ್ ಇರೋದು ಆಮೇಲೆ ಯಾವುದೇ ಡಿಪಾರ್ಟ್ಮೆಂಟಲ್ಲಿ ಇದ್ರು ಕೂಡ ನನಗೆ ಹ್ಯಾರಸ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾಯಿದ್ರು ಸೊ ವರ್ಕ್ ಒಂದು ಕಡೆ ನಾನು ವರ್ಕ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಒಂದು 2 ಮಂತ್ಸ್ ಆಗಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ ಪುನಃ ಟ್ರಾನ್ಸ್ಫರ್ ತಗೊಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ರು ನನ್ನನ್ನು ಎಲ್ಲಿ ಸಮೇತ ನನಗೆ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಸೆಟೆಡ್ ಆಗಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಬಿಡ್ತಿರ್ಲಿಲ್ಲ ನನ್ನ 2 ಮಕ್ಕಳನ್ನ ಕರ್ಕೊಂಡು ನಾನು ಹೇಗೆ ಲೈಫ್ ಜರ್ನಿ ಮಾಡಲಿ ಅಂತ.
ಹೆಸರು ಹೇಳಿದ್ರು ಸೀನಿಯರ್ ಆಫೀಸರ್ಸ್
ಮೋಹಂತಿ ಪ್ರಸಾದ್ ಹೆಸರು ಹೇಳಿದ್ರು ನನಗೆ ಇಬ್ಬರದು ಜಾರ್ಜ್.
CM Dhananjay, you heard there, it was the name of KJ George and 2 top cops, Mr. Mohanty and Mr. Prasad, that were taken by DYSP Ganpati before he died. Mr. Mohanty, you also heard the reason that was given by Arimasundaram, senior counsel, who says that pendency before the Supreme Court cannot prevent an investigation to be reopened. I'm asking you, why were Vinay Kumar Sorake, the then State Urban Development Minister calling up Mr. Ganpati if he was in a depressed condition? Why was MLA Muni Ratna of the Congress party calling up Mr. Ganpati if he was in a depressed condition? Why were their names deleted from the call records, Mr. Dhananjay?
See, all this question, whatever you are asking, it's irrelevant as far as
it's irrelevant.
The matter is already, I made it very clear that the case is pending before the Supreme Court.
The investigation is not done by the Supreme Court.
You are not an investigating officer. You are not an IO. You are not an investigating officer. Kindly understand.
You are only putting on the debate to discuss about the issue. You are not an investigating officer. Don't put a question to me like that. You be kindly just have a I am not an IO because I am not an IO. Dr. Sambit Patra. Dr. Sambit Patra. 1 minute. Dr. Sambit Patra. Dr. Sambit Patra. Should these names also be investigated? Why their names were deleted from the call records? What were these ministers and MLAs doing talking to Ganpati if he was such a depressed soul that he committed suicide a few hours later? Dr. Sambit Patra?
You cannot have a parallel investigation.
See, how can I speak when he keeps on shouting? Navika, what I wanted to say even before this, I wanted to say that, look, keep aside the investigation and the court cases. We have the first-hand information from the officer who is no more with us, Mr. Ganapati, in a private news channel in an interview where he says that these are the people who probably would do something with my life. And Mr. George's name was taken then, and 2 top cops were also named. Despite that, remember, if the officer dies within a few days of it, it is almost akin to a dying declaration.
It was a few hours, Sambit Patra, a few hours before his death. The interview happened a few hours.
Exactly. Exactly. So it is almost akin to a dying declaration. And here Mr. Dhananjay himself says that the whole thing is pending before the Supreme Court.
See, that's why it matters.
Absolutely. And coming back to Aryama Sundaram, let's cut the chase. Let's cut the chase. Let's look at the legal point, Mr. Aryama Sundaram. The fact that forensic reports have come on the 20th of May 2017. Can any investigation be closed and exonerate a minister in September of 2016 if the forensic reports are coming in 2017 May?
Navika, it is most unusual that if material has been seized and at the scene of the occurrence and has been sent for forensic examination, that any investigation would be closed without considering what the result of that forensic investigation is. I mean, why have a forensic examination at all? Why take all that material? Why send it for forensic? Why have a forensic examination? If you can complete an investigation without it, then what was all that nonsense about taking it and sending it there? Now look at it. Now look at what is transpiring is some suspicious circumstances. I am not giving a verdict here, but there are suspicious circumstances which are definitely coming up from the forensic examination report. Now those circumstances demand a reopening and relook at the entire thing. I don't know why we are running away from that fact.
Absolutely, and what a lame explanation. What a lame explanation from the Congress party, from CM Dhananjay, who says because the matter is before the Supreme Court, none of these loopholes should be talked about. None of the demands for investigation, a closer look and a re-investigation into the case be looked at. The question we are asking, ladies and gentlemen, tonight is, if Ganpati committed suicide, why are so many discrepancies pointing towards foul play tonight? Can the state government explain why the serious anomalies cited in the forensic report cover up now at this point in time? Why have names of mantris, netas and top cops been deleted from the phone of the dead cop? Were the names of mantris, netas and top cops deleted from the phone of the dead cop to shield them from scrutiny? All of these questions remain unanswered, ladies and gentlemen, and we will continue to investigate even if the Congress is going to look for a cover-up because they want their mantri KJ George not to be touched. We'll continue to question him. Thank you very much to all my panelists for joining me live here on Congress Cover-Up.